Star Wars, one of the biggest franchises in this part of the galaxy. Initially, I didn't have very much interest in this game, and didn't plan on getting it, at least not until BioWare set up some sort of trial system. However, I had a boatload of GameStop credits, and decided to just buckle in and check the game out now. The character creation is pretty standard. You have more options than you do in a game such as World of Warcraft, but less than you would in a game like Ion, which is fine. The only flaw really is the race selection. Star Wars has many possible humanoid races to choose from, and yet you can't even roll a droid. It's understandable that you can't roll a race like the Hutt, but humanoid droids should definitely be an option. Who doesn't want to play as a badass HK droid, or even a Wookiee? We can only hope that BioWare adds more options in the future, and lets us race change when they do. Story is the big feature of this game. If you've got ADHD and hate games with cutscenes, then this is not for you. As soon as you're done creating your character, you're given your first in-game cutscene. Everything is fully voice acted, and the game uses BioWare's patented dialogue wheel that they seem to use in all their games.
Welcome to Tython, Padawan. Everyone at the temple is looking forward to meeting you. Your former masters praise your combat skills. They say you're becoming an expert duelist.
It's easy to excel when you're...
If you've never played a BioWare game, you're a retard, and you may not be familiar with how this system works. Basically, the top option is your light side choice, the middle is your neutral, and the bottom is your dark side. Gaining points in these fields affects your force abilities, although I'm not sure how they affect classes that aren't force related, such as the Bounty Hunter. As you can see here, I'm playing a Mr. Goody Two-Shoes light side character. When you log into the game, you are greeted with a story synopsis of what you have done so far during the loading screen. This is very clever and helpful in my opinion. Aside from the lengthy story scenes attached to the quests, actually playing them is still very theme parky. This is fine though, because honestly if you get into the story, it does make the questing feel much more important than when you simply read the blurb at the bottom of the quest pane that tells you to kill 10 rats. Again, this is something that will entirely depend on your tastes. If you just want to rush through to endgame, then SWTOR is not for you, as this game is about the journey, not the destination. One element of questing that is different is your class story. This is the storyline specific for you, and a lot of times these quests will send you to an area that is seamlessly instanced. What I mean by this is that there is no load time when entering it, but when you do, it is only for you. Someone else entering who is not in your party will get their own instance. These areas are marked in-game by glowing green and red force fields. Red ones mean you can't enter them as they are not for your class or you haven't progressed far enough to enter them yet. The combat of SWTOR will feel familiar, but there are some subtle differences. Mainly, there is no auto-attack function. Every class instead gets a base attack that can be used without costing any sort of resource. In the case of this Jedi Knight class, it actually builds up the class's resource. Some classes also have special gameplay mechanics such as the Smuggler, who can take cover behind things and pop out to lay down fire. If you've played Gears of War or Bulletstorm or any other first-person shooter of late, you'll be familiar with this system. The lack of auto-attack does make combat feel more involved, as you have to constantly rotate between your basic attack and your more powerful abilities. But it does make multitasking, i.e. watching TV or web browsing during gameplay, a lot harder. Again, this can be looked at as either a good or bad thing depending on your preferences. When you reach level 10 and get far enough in the story to reach the Republic fleet or Coruscant, you can train to an advanced class.
Kabanotase makipuna, malituta odmishka, patogawata kiko uba kiliwata buki donko. Poya toka changa goptula do batawana wanki.
I assume there's more.
Pampawula ji ota kakoga huta nupisto. Chicos pa inigudad ijigliska chanagawa.
I understand perfectly.
O grani tampio da pushi wompa, pu tula musta. Jaskruni do pat kurira do kanki kung.
This unlocks your standard 3-pane skill tree, where you can spend the points you obtain at level up. Again, this will be familiar to you if you've ever played any other theme park MMO. The crafting system in SWTOR is a little strange. You basically do all your crafting through your crew. When you click on the skill, a list of timed quests that you can send them out on will pop up. Each one will cost a small fee, and when they are sent out, they of course will not be there to watch your back in combat and such. After the allotted time, they will come back and give you the results of their work. In practice, it functions much like the crafting system of other MMOs, only you can continue progressing through other content while this occurs in the background. There are other gameplay elements I could go into, such as PvP and the on-rails space shooter minigame, but they aren't all that unique or important enough to go into in detail. So what's my overall verdict on the game? Well, it's mixed, to be honest. I think the story-based quests and voiceover work in place are brilliant and definitely should become the norm for MMOs in the future. However, the gameplay itself, for me, doesn't hold my attention, as it is like the majority of other MMOs out there. I'm not saying it's bad, in fact it's very well done for what it is, but if you're tired of the typical theme park World of Warcraft style combat and game progression feel, then what SWTOR has that is unique still won't be enough to be of value to you. As I said before, some people may find the lengthy quest cutscenes to be a negative as well, but if those are something you look forward to, and the tired gameplay is something that doesn't bother you, well, I think you may just fall in love with this very well put together game. So that wraps up my review. Thank you for watching.
You're unharmed. Good. Flesh Raider shot me in the leg while I was rescuing some Padawans. Don't know where these things got blasters, but I know how to use them. I've been evacuated to a med center, but the